As of recording this video, Netflix has just released its newest season of Stranger Things. Thanks to its clever writing and impressive talent on screen, Season 4 is expected to become Netflix's best performing show. With this channel being centered around theme parks, I couldn't stop thinking about how easy it would be to re-theme Jewel at Alton Towers to the Krill House. Because the original attraction opened back in 1992, it's starting to show its age, with a lot of the effects on the ride no longer working. In today's video, I'm going to be exploring the idea of Alton Towers opening the world's first Stranger Things attraction. My name is Luke from Coast Connection, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a heads up, this video will contain spoilers of Season 4, Volume 1 of Stranger Things. I'd also like to clarify that this video is just a fan concept and is not based on any official announcements. For those of you who don't know, Alton Towers was bought by the Two Swords Group in 1990. Thanks to its new owners, it was decided that Alton Towers would undergo significant changes to redevelop the site as a theme park. Part of this expansion included a new haunted house attraction that opened in 1992. This was a slow-moving dark ride that featured plenty of jump scares and special effects. When it opened, this attraction was highly praised for its impressive set pieces and theming. Despite the ride being well received, it only stayed open in its original state for 10 years. After the successful opening of Tomb Blaster at Chesington World of Adventures, it was also decided that the haunted house at Alton Towers would also be updated. Reopening as Jewel in 2003, the new version of the ride featured interactive targets that guests could shoot. Whilst it did make the ride more engaging and fun to experience, it did lose some of its original appeal of being a scary haunted house. Since 2003, Jewel has remained the same with no significant changes made to the storyline, theming, or actual hardware. In its current state, the ride is desperately in need of a refurbishment or a completely new experience. This is why I think Stranger Things could be a perfect IP to replace this attraction. Over the last few decades, the theme park industry has seen a big change in how rides are created and also advertised. Intellectual properties now play an important role in attracting guests to experience new attractions. IPs at theme parks were initially just from TV shows and films, but more recently theme park designers have been looking at other media formats to find potential partnerships. At Chesington World of Adventures, we've seen new rides constructed based on popular children's books such as The Gruffalo, and Universal Studios Beijing has just opened Super Nintendo World, an area based entirely around popular video game characters. With streaming services seemingly taking over film and TV, I think it's very likely that popular shows from streaming platforms might start appearing at theme parks. If I had to pick a streaming show for a new theme park attraction, Stranger Things would definitely be my #1 choice. Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios has already worked with Stranger Things to create horror mazes, so there's clearly an interest on both sides of the industry to work together. When it comes to re-theming Jewel, it'd be relatively easy to update. Because the ride is already themed to a haunted house, you wouldn't need to dedicate much money towards updating the ride's overall structure or show building. That way more money can be spent on new hardware and new theming. One of the only main changes I'd make to the outside of the building is a brand new updated facade. By extending and reusing parts of the old haunted house building, you'd then be able to transform the exterior into the Krill House. The storyline I've created for this attraction would be set during Season 4. Due to its poor reputation, the Hawkins Post is struggling to hire new reporters, so they've enlisted the help of guests to assist them in a new investigation into the Krill House. As guests enter the queue for the attraction, they'll first head into the nearby forest to look for any clues. After walking back to the front of the house, an employee from the Hawkins Post will put guests into groups. This is where guests from the regular line would meet up with the fast track queue. To make the staff operating the ride keep guests immersed in the experience, they would be acting as employees from the Hawkins Post. Once inside, guests will then walk through the hallway into the dining room, where guests will have the opportunity to take pictures. This room will act as a pre-show where guests will meet a local historian. He was invited for an interview by the Hawkins Post to discuss the strange murders that happened in 1959. During this interview, guests will then start to experience strange flickering lights, hinting that Vecna is present in the Upside Down. After the historian has left, guests will then board the ride vehicle to continue their investigation. I've seen a cool concept online for a trackless ride vehicle where each seat features a torch. This would then allow guests to shine the light on certain set pieces to activate certain jump scares and story elements. I feel like this type of ride vehicle would be perfect for Stranger Things. The first scene on the ride would take place in the living room, where the lights once again start to flicker until everything turns to black. During this darkness, part of the living room wall would spin around, revealing an old grandfather clock. From the guest's perspective, once the lights return to normal, it will appear that the clock has simply appeared out of nowhere. For the guests who have watched the show, this will give them a tease about a certain character they might bump into towards the end of this ride. As the show explains, towards the end of season 4, people who have sightings of the grandfather clock are being hunted by Vecna, the current main villain for Stranger Things. In the following scenes, guests then explore the rest of the house, witnessing strange and horrific moments from season 4. Halfway through the attraction, guests are reunited with the historian from the pre-show, but she's been killed. The ride vehicle then quickly turns around to reveal the murderer, Vecna. He then tries to justify his actions before attempting to kill the reporters. Due to the historian's death, a new portal has opened to the Upside Down, allowing guests to escape Vecna. The ride vehicles then enter the portal, where guests will be able to explore some of the other iconic locations from the show. During your time spent in the Upside Down, riders will come face to face with some of the monsters from Stranger Things, including a Demogorgon. Before being eaten by the creature, the kids from the show appear, saving guests just in time. After exchanging information about Vecna and the Upside Down, the show's characters agree to help take him down. I'm not sure where the final battle would take place, but it'd be one of the larger scenes on the ride to match the scale of the fight. After defeating Vecna, guests would then exit the ride vehicles still in the Upside Down. They would then walk into the family video store, where another opening already exists. This will act as the ride's gift shop, where you can buy your on-ride photo. I'd love to know down below in the comments if you think Stranger Things would work well at Alton Towers, and if you would actually experience this ride if it was built. Thanks for watching this video to the very end. I hope you found it interesting, and if you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like. My name is Luke from Coast Connection, and I'll see you in my next video.